Hi everybody, Rod Shelley here, and I'm going to be doing a short series of videos here where we're going to kind of explore this this magnificent yacht by TruForm. And this isn't a paid promotion or anything. I'm just basically doing this because, one, I'm pretty impressed with this thing. It's a massive set, and it's got just a ton of features. There's all kinds of stuff that I haven't even explored. There's an exercise room in there, several bedrooms, a lounge, which we'll be seeing in more detail here in a couple minutes. There's even several bedrooms. There's even a cinema in there. Anyway, I'm going to be exploring this yacht, and in so doing, I'll be showing you a few of the challenges that I faced, one of which is parenting cameras to certain parts. For instance, the bridge here. I've got a couple cameras parented to the bridge so that when I move the yacht, the cameras move with it. And that can be a little bit of a challenge, but I'll show you how I do it, and show you a couple other little tricks that I've used in setting some of the scenes up. I'm basically recording this. I want to give a shout out to my friend Jay Versluis, who turned me on to this little application called OBS Studio. And let me bring up my other screen here. I've got two screens. OBS Studio is this little part right here, and it allows me to do cool stuff, record screens. I can record two screens. I have a double monitor set up here. I'm kind of spoiled with having two monitors. And I'll pop that up when necessary, and hopefully not forget to leave it up so it blocks the view. But anyway, I'll put a link in the description. Jay runs a YouTube channel called WP Guru, and he does a lot of Daz Studio things, and lots of other things. He'll do a stream sometimes on Saturday with a game called Subnautica, which is really pretty neat. But anyway, I'll leave a link in the description. Moving along, this is of course, the preview for the frame 5 of the last TNA page that I put up. So what I want to do is, say I want to put another camera in and take a look at that lounge. So let's go to Object and create a new camera. And of course the camera will just wind up someplace wherever. This is part of the environment scene. So let's go to Object, change parent, and we will parent it to LY Master, which is Luxury Yacht Master. And we'll hit OK, and we'll end up in a hallway. And this is, again, this yacht is just massive. So let's dolly up on the y-axis. And what we'll do is go up a couple of levels and find the lounge. One more level. That's bedrooms and stuff on this level. Like I said, this is a massive set, and there's a massive environment around it, so Poser has to think a little bit before it does what I tell it to do. So, all right, we're on the lounge level here. You can see the lounge there in the foreground. And we'll dolly Z The camera is actually pointing towards the rear end of the yacht, aft, I guess, for all you naval maritime folks. And we are now in the lounge. We're lounge lizards. I'm going to take the camera here and I'm going to reduce the focal length just a touch, make it a little bit more wide angle. And I'm going to dolly X. I'm going to move it just a little bit to the right, the other right. Right about here. A little bit more. About there. All right, now I'm going to move it in just a little bit more. Make sure we don't run into any of the staircase railing. And I'm going to select this chair for a couple of reasons. One, because I've got rotate around selected object selected. So I can tilt the camera a little bit. We'll tilt it a little bit like this. And rotate it a little bit. Kind of like that. All right, that looks good. Now the other reason I've got the chair selected is we need to know where to put stuff. Okay, if you know, we want to go up and get one of the girls and bring her down to this level, we need to know where to put her. And it's a whole lot easier to do it this way than to go up. The bridge is up one more level and actually behind us. So easiest way I've found to do it, with this chair still selected, go to Object, change Parent, and then change it temporarily to the universe. Now hit OK, and you'll see over here the X, Y, and Z coordinates will change. Now this is telling us where the chair is in actual space, in world space. So we can now take these X, Y, and Z coordinates, write them down, and apply them to whatever we want to bring into the scene. Now we'll go back up here to edit and undo the reparent because we want the chair to stay parented to the yacht. So now let's bring Betty into the scene. So let's go find Betty. Where are you, Betty? There's Betty. Okay, with Betty selected, the girls are also parented to the yacht. So we'll set Betty, parent Betty to universe. And you'll see those coordinates change. And it also changes to the hip for whatever reason, which we don't want. All right, so now we can go in here and change these coordinates and tell Betty where to show up. So that was 300, basically 300 even. And 19.8, we can call it 20. And we'll call that 202. Hello, Betty. All right, so let's grab Betty here. I know some of the guys would like to grab Betty. All right, let's bring Betty out here and sit her down on the floor. Like us, she's just kind of exploring the yacht. She's still got her towel on because she took a dip in the pool. All right, yeah, we'll lift her up a little bit more so her shoes aren't poking through the floor. Okay, And let's rotate Betty around a little bit here. Pardon my throat. My throat kind of goes funny on me when I talk a lot. Okay. Now let's switch to the other screen momentarily. And I'm going to leave Betty in the same pose. So what we'll do is go in here and go into the hierarchy editor and see if we can find Betty in this massive thing somewhere. I've got the towel selected, so it shouldn't be too hard. And basically what I'm going to do is just take her out of the towel and put her in her dress. And this isn't really necessary, but you know, what the heck. Okay, in a towel, I'm going to do that and see if I can find her dress here. Sexy dress, that wasn't it. That's, I think, Grandpa's dress. And where is your dress, Betty? All right. I'll tell you what, let's just leave her in the towel in the interest of time. She looks good in the towel anyway. So let's get rid of this, because this will serve well enough to show it for what I'm wanting to show. All right. Bend her head up a little bit there. Okay, so now we've got Betty in the scene, and I'm going to bring the camera down just a touch. So let's put another light in the scene. Right now the lighting's rather flat. So again, we can use our same coordinates for the chair. So if we start with another spotlight, and it'll come in with whatever it decides are the coordinates it wants to be at. So we'll go 300 and 20 and 202, and there's our light. And we'll move it up a little bit. See it shining on the chairs and table there. And what I usually do with lights is go into Display, Object Style, and Cartoon with Lines. And that makes it a little easier to see. Now, I'm probably going to go ahead and change this to a point light and let it kind of flood the scene with light. I'm going to move it up this way a little bit. And I am going to, actually, I think what I'm going to do is change this to inverse square, because that acts more like a normal light. The light falls off more normally. I use that a lot for things like lamps, ceiling lights, things like that. So we'll give it a little bit of blur and change the minimum bias to 0.1. And I'm going to reduce the intensity to about 50%, because when you use inverse square, they're really bright. I'm going to move it over a little bit, and I'm going to bring it forward just a bit. Like so. Okay. Now, we'll go ahead and render the scene. I'm going to go ahead and pause this just so you don't have to sit here and watch it render. I've got the render size set fairly small. Actually, no, I don't. I've got it 3360 by 2100, which is what I usually render at when I'm doing these frames for production. So I'm going to do it for 1200 just to keep it from taking too long to render. And even at 3360 by 2100, it doesn't take that long to render, even with a massive scene like this. It's probably 10 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this and render it, and we'll take a look at the finished scene. Okay, here we are with the rendered scene, and obviously there's a lot of things I could do to finesse this a bit. That light could be brought forward a little bit and light Betty up a little bit more from the front, although I do have a nice rim light here. I'm not sure where that's coming from, possibly from the infinite light outside that's playing the part of the sun. But there's plenty of things that could be done. For instance, I could go into the material room. Now we can light these chandelier lights up a little bit. All right. Now we don't want specular. Yeah, we can give it a little specular color, but what I'm looking for is ambient. And let's give it kind of a nice yellowy, orangey, warm light color. And click on the ambient value and crank that up to 7 or so, 7 or 8. And you see the lights turn on. And it's thinking about it. There we go. And we can do the same thing with the lampshade here. Click on the lampshade. Same-o. Nice kind of warm, orangey, yellowy look. Crank her up a bit. For all you DAS folks, this would be, you would change the lampshade to an emissive. And there's plenty of other things I could do. That's one reason it takes me forever to get these out. You know, I could finesse the candles a little bit. What I like to do with candles a lot of times is take a point light that's set to inverse square, and set it right over the candle, right over where the wick is, and crank the intensity down to about 2 or 3%. It doesn't need to be much more than that. And then take the candle and go into the material room. You know, and you can change the diffuse color to anything. We can make a hot pink candle out of it. Change the specular a little bit. And then you can add skin subsurface scattering to it. And what that does, when you have that point light over the top of it, it gives it a little glow at the top, like a real candle has. But anyway, like I said, there's a million other things you can finesse in here. The glasses, I would probably finesse the glass here to look a little bit more realistic. Sometimes I'll even change the material on chairs and things. I'll go in and use some of Parrot Dolphin's wonderful materials. But anyway, that's how I kind of position things in a large set. And if you're if you're learning how to talk, don't come to me because I can't, obviously. If you're learning how to navigate around or how to place things in a large set like this, or even one of Stonemason's massive sets like Urban Future, I think, is a huge set. This is an easy way to do it. just parent your camera, and then you can move the camera around. And sometimes it's a little bit of a challenge figuring out where you're going, but nevertheless, it's kind of fun to explore the environments. So anyway, that's it for now. We'll be doing a few more of these as we continue to explore this yacht. And who knows, we might even get invited to the girls' yacht warming bikini party a little later on. So for now, this is Rod Shelley out, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.